Docked here July 24th, 1915. The SS Eastland started boarding passengers at 6:30 a.m. The Greyhound of the Lakes, or the Speed Queen of the Great Lakes, was bound for Michigan City, Indiana, some 38 miles across Lake Michigan. The Eastland and 4 other ships were hired to transport Western Electric workers on a gala excursion to a picnic at Washington Park. 7,000 excited employees crowded the dock, ready to enjoy a trip across the lake and a fabulous day at the beach. Little did they know that by 7:28 their gala excursion would turn into the greatest maritime disaster of all time. You see, the Eastland had another nickname, Hoodoo Boat, slang at the time for unsafe. The Eastland was an unstable vessel and had a reputation for being tipsy, listing from side to side. With the addition of more lifeboats and rafts, required by law after the Titanic disaster, a new concrete top deck, and an inappropriate ballast system, disaster was imminent. And that disaster took place on that dreary, rainy July morning as the SS Eastland turned turtle 20 feet from the dock after listing back and forth for a time. Of the 2,500 passengers on board, 844 perished that day. 22 entire families were lost. Mrs. G's grandfather was an employee of Western Electric. He, and we believe his future wife, had tickets, but the Eastland was at full capacity as they were close to boarding and were directed to one of the other 4 ships. My question? What if? What if they had boarded that ship and were numbers 845 and 846? There would be no Mrs. G's mom, aunts or uncles, no Mrs. G or sisters. There would be no son or daughter. There would be no daughter-in-law or son-in-law, and myself, we'd all be somewhere else. And there would be no grandkids. They never would have existed. The SS Eastland, with 2,501 passengers on board, was to arrive at this wharf mid-morning on Saturday, July 24th, 1915. Washington Park in Michigan City, Indiana, were to play host to 7,000 Western Electric Company's Hawthorne Works employees, their families, and friends that day. Tragically, the SS Eastland rolled over on her port side in about 20 feet of water, while still partially tied to the wharf in the Chicago River. Of the 2,501 passengers on board, 844 perished. The disaster represents the single greatest loss of life in Great Lakes maritime history. Each link in this long chain represents a lost soul from the Eastland disaster. For whatever reason, there are two less links in this very long chain. Luck, good fortune, divine intervention? I don't know, but life for me would be totally different. It just amazes me how things or events in our past have affected our present, and how our present will someday affect the future.